Hey lovely people, welcome back to the lovely place. This is Sean, and today we're up here doing a little equipment service. If you watched one of our previous videos, you might have seen this new DR chipper shredder. We just tested that thing for the first time, put a new battery on it. Check out that video if you're interested in DR chipper shredder stuff. And but right now, the first thing we're going to be servicing is this phenomenal, one of my favorite tools that I lovingly call Dread. It is the DR Pro Max 34, and this is the brush and field cutter. And what we're going to be doing today is changing the oil and filter. I went by the DR dealer. He gave me this oil, the 10W40. This is obviously says for Kawasaki engines, but this is a Briggs & Stratton. It's good oil. And this oil filter, it takes a 492932S Briggs filter. And let's look at it here. It looks to be the same size as the one that's on it, so we'll get that on there as well. I believe, I didn't get to look it up or anything, but I believe my oil drain is, the little plug is right here. And I think I can just get a ratchet on there and pop that right off. I placed this tub here for mixing mortar. It's my little oil catcher under this wheel, and I'm hoping that when this squirts out that it'll go down there and not between it and the deck. If that happens, I've got this that I intend to plug in here, and hopefully it will drip down into this oil pan. So we're gonna see what happens. I just want to prevent an oil spill. But yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do the Polaris Sportsman 550 today. The hope is also to do the 500 Crew. So here's the Polaris Sportsman. I'm sorry, 570. I keep saying 550. It's a 570. And then the Polaris Crew here. I'm going to be doing that one as well. This is a 500. And we're also going to do the Swisher. We're going to get the oil changed in that one too. The Swisher and blue, the 570, it gets a lot of action, so we pull it behind the Polaris 570, and we're going to be doing a lot of that this spring and summer. But this just got some use, and we're going to be using it a lot more, so we're going to start here. All right, the way we're going to get this off is we're going to use this 1/2-inch drive here and pop it on there. And then I'm going to use this handy little socket that my son got me for Christmas that adapts to all sizes, and we're going to stick it over this drive with this wrench and see if it will break it, the nut, and it will. And let's see if we get oil out of here. Looks like it's coming. This thing really comes in handy. I went through a lot of my tools and I didn't have anything that would work for this. So, all right, let's see what kind of mess we make. Oh yeah, we're good. It's making it in. I think I need a towel. Mean to do that. Can't do anything easy when you're holding a camera. Let's come back. All right, so I put a block of wood up underneath that corner over there. I took this cover off just to clean that oil up that I got down inside of there, but now it's draining good in that pan. Getting a little bit back in there, but I can wipe all that clean. All right, you can see we're down to a little trickle now. We're gonna go ahead and get that back in there. I put a block under the other tire, under the other wheel, to see if we can drain more, and more did come out. Let's get this back on, and we'll get the filter off. Okay, we're on the other side. Here's the oil filter. We've got the pan once again underneath this area. I'm not sure how well that's going to drain there. Maybe I can find a small pan to put here. But I want to show you what I'm using on my oil filters these days. It's this, I guess it's like it's obviously vice grips, but it's kind of made perfect for an oil filter. So I'm assuming maybe that's what it's specifically for. I just used it to remove the filter in my pickup truck when I changed the oil over the weekend, and did a great job. I've done it on a few other pieces of equipment. Let's see how it works on this. It's not that tight at all. I think I may have been able to get that with my hand. Let's get going here. Now that container came in handy. Yeah. That's where you need to put it. Just clean this off a little bit around it. Always pushing out away from the actual inside when you're cleaning it off, never pushing things inside there. Here's our new filter. And we're going to get a little bit of this clean oil, put it on our finger, and just slide it all around this little O-ring, and we'll start getting this in place. Actually, we're going to pour just a little in there. Since it has to go sideways, we're not going to pour much, or we'll waste a bunch of oil. So let's go this route and see if we can get it on. All right. All we need to do is get it hand tight. Good. Make sure we don't have any leaks. We look good there. I know we're good over there. All right, let's keep going. Still a little bit in this quart here. I'm going to crank it up, let it circulate, and then we'll check it and see how low it is. If you're wondering what that humming noise is, I've got a fan over there drying up a water puddle. We had a limb fall off of one of our trees, and it went through the roof of the trailer, and I had to rivet a patch of metal on there, and we're drying up where it leaked there. But let's get this thing started and see where the oil stands. It's had a couple minutes to settle back down. I'm sure we're going to have to add some, but let's check and see where it's at. So it's barely even on the bottom, so I don't know that they even gave me enough. I believe it said it would just take over 1 quart but I'm afraid it's going to need more than that. Let's go ahead and put the rest of this in there. It's absolutely going to need more than 1 quart. Okay, so this is a 10W40 oil, and this is too, but it's Castrol, different brand. I'm going to mix it. It's not going to be a big deal. But I've got about a 1/2 quart of this left over from a previous oil change that I just did on the bad boy 0-turn mower. We're going to let that be all we're going to add at the moment, and we will see where that puts it. I've only got a little bit more, so we're going to put the rest of this 1/2 quart. So that'll be a total of 1.5 quarts that we're putting in here. Let's see how that does for us. Just a little bit left to play it safe. I'm gonna do a quick test. I know I'm not running the motor yet, but I will be able to tell where it's at before it circulates through. That'll give me a little idea of where we're at. All right, let's let it circulate through just to be sure. Okay, we ran it for a few moments. Let's test it again. I sure hope we're close, because I'm going to have to dip into some of the oil that I brought for the other machines if this is not going to be enough. It's some clear oil, of course, because it's brand new, but it's still low. So let's add the rest of this one, and then we're going to dip into another one. I just don't want to overfill it, because it's definitely not good for a motor to have it too full, and I don't want to have to pull the plug out, drain any of that out if I overfill. Okay, so there's 2 brand new quarts that I purchased for the Swisher oil change. I think it takes not quite 2, so we might be able to do this and have enough to do the Swisher. We shall see. Then I'm going to add a little bit more to this. Again, it's a 10W40. Give it a little test. All right, so just so you guys know, this takes 2 quarts of oil. As I kept filling it up and testing that, I just did it little by little. When I went to the DR dealer, I said I need the oil that I need for the oil change and the filter. They gave me the 1 quart and the filter. So obviously they didn't know, but I did a little research and confirmed, as I was confirming on the dipstick, it's 2 quarts for this particular engine, this 22 horsepower Briggs & Stratton engine. All right, off to the next one. All right, we're going to change the oil in the Country Cut 44-inch Swisher and see if we can get this out. I am not able to locate an oil filter on this thing. I'm assuming maybe it doesn't have one, which is odd to me, but if anybody knows if there's one on here, please let me know. We'll definitely be skipping it on this one. But what I was able to do just now is I located what I'm assuming is the drain plug. It's one of those new little twist and pull kind of drain plugs, and I stuck this hose in there because if you don't, it's just going to go all over the deck. And so I'm going to find a pan to put this in, and I'm hoping that's got a tight enough fit that it's going to drain through here real good. Let's see. Okay, here's what I've rigged up. I've got this oil pan down here. I've got this big black funnel coming through down into the oil pan, and I'm going to take this hose and put it right there into the funnel. We'll see if that's going to work. All right, it's a little tight to pull with my hand. Oh, that might do it, actually. There we go. There it comes. Not coming fast because I've not opened the oil cap, but I think that's going to do the trick. Let's open this oil cap and see if it comes any quicker. Let some air in. It's trickling, and we have no leak up here. That's the good news. All right, we'll give it time to come out, and then we will put some new oil in there. It's still coming out little by little. We'll let it keep draining. Not much has come out altogether, maybe about a quart, if that. Okay, we're just down to a very tiny trickle. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this valve off and lock it in place. And I'm gonna get a towel, we'll stick it under there, pull this off, let it drip into there, and then we will refill it. All right, good as new. Let's fill her up. So because I used a little bit of that other oil, that 10W40 castor oil in my DR Dread, I looked around and I found a little extra 5W30 Pennzoil. There is about a quarter of a quart here, and I've got about a third of a quart here. We're gonna put both of those in there, see where it lands. I've got another quart of this, and so yeah, this may or may not be the right thing to do, but it's not gonna hurt a thing. It's oil, and it'll mix. It's a regular SAE, so it'll be fine. All right, let's choke it. Let's give it a crank. Got the key on down here, so. Let this oil settle down and we'll check, see where we're at. So my guess is it's not yet registering on the dipstick, but we will see. Let's see here what we got. Actually it is. It's almost completely full. So interesting. I'm gonna give it just a little bit more time to settle, and then we'll check it one more time here. Okay, it stayed right where it was. It was still on that, whoops. It was still on that first mark, or just over it, just shy of the second full mark. So we're gonna just put a little bit more in here. And I believe we'll be right where we need to be without overfilling it. Again, that's what I don't want to do. So we'll just let that settle and see where it lands. All right, let's give it another dip here. We're on it. We're right where we need to be. We're right there at the very top dot. We've covered it, so we're good to go. And by the way, we've leveled this out pretty good so that it's getting a good reading, and we're off to the next one. All right, we're gonna jack the front end of this up. I'll put something under these under these wheels to chalk them. This might help. We got it in park. Do this on the other side. All right. See if that looks pretty level. I think it still needs to come up in the front some. All right, that looks pretty good. I don't think it's going anywhere. So here's our dipstick on this one. Let's get it out. Oh, it's tight. There we go. We know that the fill line will be right there, so that's where we want to get it back to. All right, I'm going to show you what I purchased for this thing. This is an actual oil filter socket, if you will. It was $8.50. I got it at the Polaris dealership, so this is supposed to fit the oil filter. It's up inside a hole. There's a solid steel frame underneath the four-wheeler, and you gotta get this straight up in there on that filter and take it out, so it requires this special tool here. Also, I purchased the oil change kit from Polaris. It's got the PS4 oil in it. It's full synthetic, 4-cycle engine oil, SAE 5W50. I said it's full synthetic. I think that's correct. Double check me on that, but I thought I remembered that earlier. Let's see if it says it here. Yeah, it does. Full synthetic. So we got 2 quarts of that, and we have this oil filter. Here's your number on the oil filter, 2520799. And again, this is the 570 Sportsman. It also comes with this little washer, this crush washer, I think they call it, that you put in at the oil plug to replace the old one. Got to make sure you put that back in there, either the old one or a new one. If you buy this kit, you get the new one with it. I priced it out. The kit's really maybe $5 more than just going to an auto store and buying your stuff, and a lot easier to find if you have a dealership nearby. Okay, so in my research, like I mentioned to you guys, I was calling this a 550. It's a 570. 550s have a panel underneath the bottom where you can take it off, and then you can access with this little handy dandy oil filter tool socket, the filter that's going straight down. However, the 570, it is right here, right there. It's aiming this direction, so I'm going to go around from the other direction, and I'm going to see if I can get that socket on there. There is absolutely no way that from over here I can get the socket on, but I might be able to get the extension and the wrench on. I don't see how, due to the fact that there is a engine mount right in front of it. But let's see what we can do. Great design. All right, so okay, so the socket's on. Let's see if I can now fit my ratchet in there. I don't think I can use an extension at all. So just get the ratchet in the right position to remove it. Maybe if I come up from underneath. I don't have any access there either. Let's see. All I can do is kind of come in where the camera's at. So I'm going to move the camera. All right, so I turned the wheels, came on the other side. Let's see if I can get in here and lock that in. I'm not sure if I'm in. I certainly don't want to take it off yet. I've not drained the oil, but I'm just wanting to get a... Yeah, I think it's turning. So I believe I will be able to get the oil filter off there, but let me drain the oil first. So as you can see through here, that's the oil filter. We have the ratchet on the front of it, and I'm assuming this is our oil plug, and I am inserting, not sure what size this is, but it does fit right in there. Let me get it on my ratchet and we will start cranking this off and drain this oil in this pan. All right, that's a T40, by the way. We pulled it out and looked at it, so here we go. Well, she was tight. Let's hope this is oil. That looks like oil to me. And I think I heard my little crush washer hit the pan. Okay, now we're going to attempt to get this filter off from this really awkward position here. I've got the pan underneath it. It's going to drain all over my... apparently I wasn't locked in like I thought I was. I know I was turning. Let me just see if I can do anything by hand. Okay, I got this by hand, so I'd like to get this tool off. I guess I'll get it off later. So the oil's going to go all over the steel plate on the bottom, the brush guard. All right. Well, there went, oh, there goes the oil. Good deal. We saved a lot of the oil in the filter, not much of it poured out. Check it out. So yeah, it's still pretty full. That went well. All right, let's get the other one on. Okay, so let's put a little oil on the little O-ring on this filter, and we'll get it on. I'm going to try to get a little bit of oil in here, not too much, because again, as you know, I've got to turn it sideways, and I'll probably have a little bit harder time putting it on than I had taking it off. So we've got a little bit down there in the bottom. Let's get it on. All right, so I'm just going to do a little feeling here, and then I'm going to bring this in and see if I can find a spot that will allow me to get in there and get it started. I think I'm dripping that oil, but I think I've started the threads. I've got oil on my fingers, so it's slipping a lot. I tell you, they don't give you a good place for this oil filter. All right, I'm gonna get a towel, wipe that off, and try to get a grip on it and get it tighter. Now I know why it was so loose the first time when I was taking it off. That'll do it. I'm gonna open this little crush washer here. We're gonna stick it on this plug, and we're gonna get that tightened up underneath. Okay, let's see if we can get this thing started. Let's Let's use the tool and let's crank her down. That feels tight. Let's wipe this off and hopefully we'll get no leaks. I'm gonna get a piece of clean cardboard and I'm gonna put it under here after I fill things up. It's probably gonna drip a little bit from where it dripped inside of underneath on top of this deal. So we'll just watch it close and make sure it's good. All right, let's add the oil into the engine. So here's the thing, when I bought this kit, it came with 2 quarts, and so it takes 2 quarts. Well, we're just going to go ahead and put all 2 quarts in. On those other pieces of equipment, I was a little unsure of what it took, but here I'm pretty sure. But we'll do it slow so it does not back up and overflow. All right, we've not started it yet. I'm just going to get a little feel for where this thing is at before it circulates through the motor and see how full that looks with 2 full quarts. You've got to screw it all the way down in there, and it's kind of cumbersome to do that because the threads are way down a few inches below where you're holding it, and getting it lined up perfectly is a little weird. But we're coming back out now. Let's see what we end up with before circulation. Before circulation, it's above full slightly, but not much. I have a feeling when it circulates, it'll go down a little bit. All right, we'll let it run a minute. All right, let's take this dipstick out and clean her up and put it back in and see what we come out with this time. All right. She's nice and clean. Our goal is to get it to there, which is full, but I have a feeling it's going to be above full because it was so far above it a while ago, but we'll see. Must have got a little bit of oil on the exhaust manifold down there because it's smoking a little bit. It'll burn off. Okay, we're coming back out. Let's see what we look like. We're right on the money. Right on the money. It's dripping right there at the full mark. There's really nothing above it, barely. It's perfect. 2 quarts on the nose for this thing. All right. We're gonna come back after we do all the oil changes, and we're going to clean out all of the air filters on every one of these these pieces of equipment. Keeping that air filter clean is probably equally important to the oil, maybe even more. But we're good. We don't have any leaks. We're all set on this. Hey, lovely people, another day, another quart or 2 of oil. We are going to do Little Red now. Little Red gets a lot of use, and it's time for this little 500 EFI Polaris Ranger crew to get the oil change. What I've done is I purchased a second oil change kit from Polaris, the PS4 oil. It's got the same filter that the 570 had, and I'll show you where everything's located at. So we pop this back seat off. It's just got these little tabs that slide up under inside there, and then it's got the little knob on the front that you can click the seat down on each side. But the oil filter, she is right in there, down there. And I believe I've changed the oil once on this one. This is the only one that I had previously changed. Right there at the bottom of this reservoir is the drain plug. Now, from what I understand, I don't know this for sure, and I probably won't be doing it. Last time I drained it all from right here, but I've heard, at least on another video, that there's another drain plug under the motors on these things. But when I drained the reservoir last time, I was able to get what seemed to be everything out. So that's going to do it for me. We're going to pop that bolt or that plug off down here. There's the filler, That's where the engine oil goes in, I think. Yep, that's the dipstick right there. And we'll wipe her down and we'll get her back up to level. Okay, we threw the oil pan under here. I got a 14mm socket on this little wrench, and we're going to pop that plug off and get some oil draining out. There's my little washer that goes on there. We could probably reuse this one, but I've got a new one. I might as well just set this one aside and use that brand new one. So this little plug here has, I think it's got the magnetic piece on it, on the top of it here. I'm not sure. There's some sludge on there, but nothing that feels like actual like metal flakes or any bits or pieces, just a little sludge. I'm not sure if she's magnetic or not. I think I'll go check that. So here's one way to test it. Yep, she's magnetic. So good, there was no flakes on it. So my engine must be in decent shape. She is barely dripping now, so I'm gonna move this up this way a little bit. Take a second and just wipe this off here. Yeah, that should do it. Now, let's put this little crush washer on this thing and let's plug her up. There we go. Put a lovely little torque on there. Let's grab this little pan here. Let's find a home for it somewhere underneath this filter. She's a little tight. Well, as you know, I took that wrench back that I bought just for these filters. Or actually, I took it home. I didn't even get it back to the store yet. So I could have really used that on this. That would have been helpful. Let's see about using these vice grips for this thing. I think that'll work out just fine. Get it on. There we go. Gotta loosen it up so it'll close. Takes a minute. I'll get the rest of it by hand. Going right in my little container. That's perfect. Nice. All right. I got this new oil filter lubed up on the gasket, and I filled it up halfway full, and now I'm going to try to maneuver myself to a position underneath this where I can use my fingers and get this thing on and tight. There we go. That's gonna be good. Let's get this little bowl out from under here. It got all the oil that came out of that filter. We didn't lose a drop yet. There we go. Sweet. All right, it's time to fill it up. Let me grab the funnel. Let's go ahead and put quart number 1 in. We've got the fill plug tightened up. We've got the filter tightened up. We should be good to go. Get the other quart. It takes 2, so we're just going to go ahead and pop them both in here. We may stop a little shy on the second one just to check the level, make sure that we don't overfill it. Just in case I didn't get everything out entirely, but pretty sure I did. Put my knife up here. Okay. Here we go. Number 2. So let's stop about right here. We're about here on the line. So we got about a little over 1 3/4. About a little over 1 3/4 of a quart in that. I'm gonna put the plug back in and we'll crank her up and let it circulate a little bit. Find my plug, here we go. Okay. I'm gonna look under, make sure we got no leak. We look good. Looking good. Let's crank it up and see what we got. Let it run for a few minutes here. All right. So that's been long enough. Let's take a peek at this dipstick. After we clean her off, put her back in, see what it's reading. Okay, so on the dipstick for the Ranger here, you have this line and this line, and it says normal is in between these lines, and then it shows full right here with an arrow pointing down to this top line. That's the top. So our goal is to get it on this mark. So we'll let it settle for a couple minutes, test it, and I'll show you where it came to. Okay, it's sat here for a couple of minutes, so let's drop that dipstick down in there carefully. We will tighten it all the way down so that we can thread it down there, make sure it's getting the full depth. Coming back out, and let's see where it's landed. My guess is it's a little shy of full, and it sure looks beyond full, actually. It looks to be all the way up into the hash marks above this line. Let's try that again. Maybe this thing's not supposed to take 2 quarts. I haven't researched that. I just used what was in it. And honestly, when I checked it before I drained it, it looked like it was up there then too. But you never know. Let's see. I'm calling it way up here. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know if you can see the shine, but it seems shiny all the way up to here. I'm glad I didn't continue with that full quart, but I wish I'd have stopped sooner. Let's take a look at this dipstick a little closer. And it does say full, and it points to that line. And I guarantee you it's at least up to this spot right here. Let's see. Tighten to check oil level. So we did that. I think it's just a little over full. Well, I won't bore you with this, but I think I'm going to drain it down just a little bit and get it back to level. But in any case, we've got fresh new oil in Little Red. Now I think what I'm going to do is a little lubing to my Big Red, the Case IH 75C. We got to get this thing ready for the season. A lot of work to do in the spring. We're going to move a lot of dirt, put some grass seed down there near the driveway and try to get some grass growing. There's a lot of lube points on this. It's supposed to be done every 50 hours. And then I've got some that are supposed to be done every 10 hours, of course, which is the loader. We got a lot of lubing to do. Let's get that going. Oh yeah, before we lube the tractor, we've got to blow out some air filters out of all this equipment. So let's pop these off and get them blown out and cleaned up. The air filter for this Ranger Crew is back here under the dump bed. Let me show you where it's at here. Okay. So I'll go on the other side. There's a couple of clips here we got to pop off to get to it. Pull this back. Last year I bought a brand new one, and this one was so clean I didn't have to use it. And so again, this thing looks pretty clean. I'm just going to blow it out with the air compressor. These need it. They are dirty. For the Sportsman 570, I've got to get this seat yanked off. And I got this weird seat on the back of it that the guy I bought it from put on there. It's a pretty cool little seat though. All right, now let's see if we can get this popped off. Got to take these little clamps back. Raise this up. Set it aside, and here's our filter. Need to get my screwdriver and pop the little clamp off here. These little ratchet screwdrivers are great, but they're kind of hard to get all the different bits out of the holes. But once you do, it's pretty sweet. So this one has a pre-filter on it, little sock, and then it's got the main filter underneath it. Tell you, this thing looks a little dirty. Okay. So, as you can see, this thing's very oily looking. Let's just get it off of here. Be nice to get a new one of these. I don't have one, but I could get one later. But we certainly can and should clean this up, blow it out. I'll set this little clamp right here. Yeah, let's go get it cleaned out. These are really not dirty, but these are definitely going to be dirty. Need to take that air pressure up some more. get them back on. So using this fitting on this gun is great for most Zerk fittings. However, there are some it won't fit in. This is an example of one. That's too small of an open area there. This won't fit in. So at the end of the process, I'll be removing this, putting the original on and using it. But what's great about this is you can squish it, push it on and let go, and it just locks right in. For example, now, and it's not the easiest thing to pop in and squish, but there you go. It's in now. Yeah, we got grease coming all out there. I'll come back after we're done and I'll wipe everything down. It's still got good grease from the prior greasing. Here's another one that it won't fit in, and another. And another. So there's several of these that it just won't fit into that I'm going to have to come back, but a lot of them it will get. I know a lot's coming out here, but I'm trying to keep going till some comes out on the other side. I've got some in the back. All right. Okay, back here, I previously, before I got started recording, I tested it in there, so we've got grease there. Let's knock out this one down here. That comes out quick. Popped off. All right, let's wipe that down. That's interesting. Not had that happen before. I'm looking for where it's coming out. It should be coming out right here, but I don't see it coming out, and in here. So I'm stubborn. I'm gonna try this again, but I'm gonna hold it on this time. It just quits. That concerns me. So I do see a little new grease up in here. And a little bit in the back over there. It just doesn't want to take it. I tell you what I'm going to do. When I get that other fitting on here, I'm going to come back and see if it does any better with that other fitting. And I drop my little red cover down here. We'll stick that back on there for now. All right, let's go underneath. We got to get the axle greased up. I would imagine this is one of our first ones. You can see it coming out right up here. It just squirted everywhere. Still coming. Okay. Let's look back here. I see this one over here. Not sure if that's the right spot or not, but there's a zerk there, so we're going to hit it. Where'd she go? Oh, here she is. So, if you can see, this is the first zerk that I got, and that's where the grease all started coming out. And then this is the second one right here. Grease started pouring out of here and just dripping onto the ground, so we had to clean that up. I noticed that this this little boot here, this rubber boot, seemed to be loose because there's a lot of what looks like hydraulic fluid under it. I found a socket that fits on there, so we're going to see if we can get that to tighten up. It's definitely loose. I would think this is probably a return line. It's a real fat line. I could be completely wrong about this, but it can't have a lot of pressure on it for that to be that loose. It's certainly tighter than it was. Let's try to get the other one here. That's definitely tightening. It was very loose. Okay, that's good and tight now. Since we had a little hydraulic fluid leak, I just wanted to show you where the filler neck is. This is where you fill the hydraulic fluid, just above the 3-point hitch arm here. And this is the dipstick. This is where you check it. So I just added probably about 1/4 of a quart, and that topped it off. It's looking good. So it apparently has been dripping a little bit, but we found it, so that's a good thing. Just a little inspection, and we saw that problem, but now it should be good to go. All right, so we'll go ahead and hit this zerk point here at the axle, and just get some fresh grease up in there. There it is, coming out around this area. That's great. Let's hit the other side. There it comes right there. Nice. Coming out right there. Okay, we've got one on top of each side as well. So let's clean this up. Bring this in. There we go. There, it's coming down right underneath it, right here. There we go. Good deal. the other side. There we go. We got it coming out right down. So I've been underneath Big Red for a little while now, just, you know, getting to know him a little bit better. And so I didn't find any additional points for the Zerks, so I think we've got all of them. I'm just gonna grab a couple things here that I need. The other Zerk that or the fitting that I took off of the original grease gun is right here, so we're gonna swap it out like I told you we were gonna do for that other one that locks on. And we're gonna get those other grease points that I could not get into. So you see this one here, it will fit right in there. So it's made to fit in all these. I'd like to find me a fitting, a grease gun fitting that is small enough but it still locks, that will go in all of these. When I bought this one, I was hoping that would be the case. This is the Saker, and it's just a little bit too fat up front. I'm not sure if there can be any kind of an adapter or not, but I'm going to take this off and replace it with this one. Now, got to do it the old-fashioned way. Push it, lock it, and hold it. It's coming out. That's good. And this is the hard part with these, just these regular ones, is just getting it off. You got to, literally, you just got to yank it. And sometimes it just releases for no reason. Other times it doesn't. All right, let's get these over here. Set you down because I got to use two hands on this. There we go. And you may remember that this one that's up here is in a very bad spot because it's got these hydraulic hoses on both sides of it. So you gotta spread them apart. Push that in. And there you go. While I'm here, I'm going to clean these filters out. There's one on each side. I believe I already pulled that one out over there. But yeah, it was filthy. And I believe it's on the 50-hour service. You can maybe see down in here. Let's see. Let me climb up there. Look down in there. Oh, you got to turn this. How does that? There we go. It's tight. Not sure why it's so tight, but this side works, so I'll pull this side out first and then pop it up. But yeah, this might be the cabin filter. I'll have to double check that, but no matter what filter it is filthy. And here's the other one. So we're gonna blow those out in a second, and then we're gonna get back to grease. All right, let's put them back in. Yeah, I was reading, I don't know if you saw that, but it said do not wash or blow. So I'm not sure what they want you to do, but we blew. That's what we did. All right, let's climb back up here. And I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna blow all this out once I get this in here again. So try to get it behind this. There we go. All right, other side. I think it goes this way, because these little things, these clips wouldn't push down the other direction, so that did it right there. Now let's put these back on. Actually, we're gonna blow this out first. These old tractors get dirty, don't they? There we go. Well, lovely people, we're gonna call this a day. Let me clean your lens off here. I don't know if you could see well or not, but Mrs. Lovely's been picking up sticks all day long while I've been doing all this service. Are you tired, Mrs. Lovely? So tired. It's been a long day. You can tell I've been doing a little bit here. Greasy fingers, greasy hands. And, you know, this whole video was 2 days worth of stuff. But, you know, take it slow, take it easy, relax and have fun with it. But Big Red, he is lubed up and he is ready to work. So we're gonna get a lot of stuff done. I hope you'll continue to come back to the lovely place and join us, because the work is just beginning. Now that we've got all these things serviced and ready to work, one of the next projects that I'll be working on will be, I've got a few mounds of topsoil. I still have to get that spread out near the road by the driveway, where a lot of water over the winter has started to really erode it. And we've got to get that filled in, put some seed down and straw. And so we're going to be moving a lot of stuff with the bucket, with the grapple. A lot more work, cutting trails, you name it. We got to do all the kinds of stuff in here inside the tiny house. Lots of work to do here. Subscribe if you haven't done so. We're trying to hit a milestone, and we'd love for you to be a part of that. So we'll talk to you next time. Thanks a lot for coming.